thought I'd do a guide for you guys on Thor. It has been requested through my streams for me to do one of these. I am Lord on this character. Now, I do play Thor quite differently to a lot of other players. I have noticed that since people come into my chats and say I need to use Rune Awakening more and stuff like this. With my playstyle, I don't need to do that, and I'll show you the reason why. So in this video, I'm just going to go over the fucking basics of his kit for the new players. I'm going to go over when to use each move. I'm going to go over how you guys have been taught to play surrounding your Thor Force. And then I'm going to go over my playstyle and how I like to play and the reason why I don't use Rune Awakening a whole lot. And the times I actually do use Rune Awakening. I have watched a lot of Thor guides, and a lot of them don't go that in depth, or they don't share a lot of really important information with you guys. I watched a GM player make a Thor guide today even, and it didn't go into much detail at all about the character, which I plan to do here. Alright, so Thor, starting off with the basics, obviously Thor's a Vanguard, tanky, he generates his own shields. He's hybrid dive / brawler character. You see on your screen there are 3 hammers. Each one of Thor's abilities uses a certain amount of hammers. So his right click and his shift will use 1 hammer. His Rune Awakening will use all 3. His E will use none. His E is used to generate those hammers back. So as I said, Thor generates his own shields through his abilities. Your right click will generate 100 shield. Your shift will also generate 100 shield. And your Rune Awakening will give you 200. So your right click is a ranged hammer throw, medium distance, does decent damage. This is one of those abilities that I speak to a lot of Thor mains, and they rarely use this ability. They say they really never use it. This is one of my main abilities. This is one of my most used abilities, and I'll show you why when it comes to your burst combo. Shift is a dash. The longer you hold it, the further you go. Bar on the side, fully generated goes the furthest. Tap it, you don't go as far, but it's still decent distance. This ability is used to getting out situations, getting verticality, and pushing enemy characters. Your E ability is used primarily to generate your hammers back. The number of people inside the dome you do put down is the number of hammers you'll get back when you use your E. So I come down here, I say I'll use 2 of my hammers, I'll pop my E over 2 enemies, and I'll get those hammers back. Another way to regenerate your hammers without using your E is every time you use an ability, your hammer will glow blue. When your hammer is glowing blue and you hit an enemy, you will get a hammer back. So if you see, if I throw my hammer, it comes back, it is glowing blue. I hit, I instantly get 1 hammer back. Now your Thor Force uses all 3 hammers. This is your F ability. This is a ranged projectile. It does quite a good amount of damage, and the range is pretty much infinite. This is very good for burst damage, and burst damage at range if you can hit your shots. You get a total of 10 projectiles. Now your ultimate ability shoots you up in the air. There is an AoE below you. Enemies in that AoE get tick damage, and then you come back down doing burst damage. It's not the best ultimate. It's actually kind of shit. But you are, since the update, you're CC immune in it, so they can't freeze you out of it, or they can't get you out of it. But the damage is pretty shit. Also, you're quite slow in the air, so a lot of enemies, if they're aware of it or they're near the outside of the circle, they can just run out of your ultimate. So we pop it, you'll notice the AoE underneath my feet, doing tick damage, and you come down and do your burst damage. Okay, now I want to get into your burst damage combo. And this combo is the main reason why I don't use Thor Force as much as most Thor players. You will also see why right click is my most used ability when other Thor mains don't use it at all. Now I will share one secret tip with this combo, but I'm going to put that at the end of the video just for the cunts that like really want to learn this character a little bit better. So your basic combo will be right click, 3 swings of your hammer with your left click, and another right click. Now that kills extremely quick, and your chance of missing is pretty much non-existent. Where with Thor Force kills a little bit quicker than that, but in a team fight, you're gonna miss a lot of your shots, and that's just a fact. Now, I want to touch on your Thor Force a little bit more because it is a pretty in-depth ability. Now, a lot of people, they use it pretty well, but for me, there's just so many downsides to this ability that there's only certain situations that I want to be using this in. Now, how a lot of people do use this ability is they'll shift in, they'll hit to get a hammer back, they'll pop their Thor Force, they'll use their Thor Force. Once it runs out, they'll pop E to get hammers back, and then they'll use their Thor Force again. Now, that's really good if you're fighting, if you're brawling around the cart when you're safe. But I do see a lot of Thors go into the back line and they try to do this. The downsides with this fucking ability is you're immobile the whole time. You cannot use shift. So you pretty much become a glass cannon, which I don't like when I'm diving. When I'm diving, characters in the back line, I like to keep mobile. I like to keep the ability to use my shift to get out. So most players will do this. They'll shift in, they'll hit, get hammer back, they'll pop their Thor Force, they'll kill, they'll use the Thor Force, they'll pop their shift, they'll use Thor Force again, they'll attack the enemy. Now that's not too bad, it is a lot of damage output, but you are immobile. You cannot use shift, you don't have the option to get out if you need, you are stuck there throwing lightning. My way of doing things, if I shift in, hit 3 times, Mjolnir throw. That's very quick. That's a very quick time to kill, and you can't miss. You cannot miss that. Where if you're in a team fight, you're pressing F, there is so much happening. These characters, they're not stationary. They're moving around a lot. Now with that, yes, you do good damage, but so does that burst combo. So with the way I play, I can shift in, I can kill this character, and I can shift out. I still keep a lot of my mobility, and it allows me to be a lot more aggressive in the back line and a lot safer. So now you're like, yo, when do I use F? Okay. I'll use my F ability when I'm safe to do so. That means I have the support of my team, or I do not need to get out of the situation. So I'll pretty much never use my F ability when I have dove in. If I'm separated from my team and my support, I will not use my F, where a lot of other people will, and they get caught out and they die. I'll use F to do damage at range to generate my ultimate charge, to break strange shields in preparation for my ult or a teammate's ult. If I'm in a 1v1 and I have the support of my team and the person I'm fighting doesn't have the support of theirs, and I'll use it to burst down targets when I'm safe if they're below half HP. Or I have a teammate coming to back me up. I know that they can finish a kill, and I want to get as much damage in as possible, then to come in and finish it off. But mainly you'll see me using it to generate ultimate charge. So the way I see it, Thor has 2 playstyles, dive or brawl. And this is mainly dictated by your supports. If you are playing dive, you need good support from your teammates, especially if you're the one going in there pressing F and being super immobile. You can get away with a lot more if you are using my burst combo, where you go in, you burst someone down, and then you can get out. You play a lot more aggressive with that playstyle, but still it all depends on your healers. If you are diving and your healers are not supporting you in that way, and they're focused on heals, the people closer to them, then play closer to your healers. If you are diving into the back line, your healers are not healing you, that's not their fault. They just have different priorities. Yes, you can stomp the fuck out of lobbies with Thor if your supports are following you up and they are helping you and healing you when you are in the dive engagements, but not everyone plays that way. Not every support plays that way. If supports are more focused on the close range engagements, just play close. There's no point going in there and just fucking dying. So if I am playing dive, I do like to utilize a lot of high ground. If I do have healers that support me on my dives, I will go in, try to disrupt the enemy as much as I can, and I will look to get out. If my supports are mainly focused on the close range engagements, I'll pretty much fight the tanks. When I say I'll fight the tanks, I mean I will try to push them out of position with my shift. I will hit strange through shield because your basic attacks do go through strange shield and hit him directly. So if I do have to play more of a close range character, Thor creates a lot of really good pressure around the cart and the point. It will look like this in me fighting a lot of the tanks. And I will try to jump to the side of them or around them, and then I will get behind them and push. and I'll push them into my team to hopefully they help do damage. If I do have to play a lot closer as well, I'll try to look for a vantage point sort of like this, where this is their tanks, their backline's here, so I can drop down behind them and put them out of position and push them into my team. Now you'll notice when I do push them, I do jump back with them and continue to hit them in the back, and then I push them again. Now that just allows me to keep damage output into the tank while my shift is on cooldown. Now for those that stuck around, I will do a couple of secret tips that I don't see a lot of Thor videos talk about, or a lot of Thor mains talk about. One of them is actually quite unique to me and how I play. So the one that's more unique to me and how I play is when I'm in a fight, I won't be looking straight at the enemy. I'll be looking down at the feet. I'll be looking down at the feet and I'll be jumping a lot. That keeps me mobile. That keeps the enemy not being able to headshot me as much because I am jumping. Now, the reason I do look down at the feet is because if I do miss my right click, it comes back a lot faster. So if you miss your right click, it does take a little bit to come back. It's not too bad. But if I'm looking down, it comes back a whole lot quicker, which allows me to burst down that target just a little bit faster. So basic fight's going to look like this. You can kill, like as I said, you can kill Lunar Snow quite quickly. Now, with your shift, you can actually initiate this with a shift, but it's going to take you an extra hit to kill her. It's going to take that one extra hit, which isn't too bad, situation dependent, but it's not the quickest way. Obviously, the quickest way is you right click, 3 hits and a right click. Now, another sneaky tip is whenever you use ability and you swing your hammer 3 times, that is the exact time it takes for your abilities to come off cooldown. Not only is there an audio cue for when you can use your next ability, but you don't really need it if you are swinging your hammer 3 times in between abilities. It'll look like this. 1, 2, 3. That way, so in the middle of a fight, there's a lot of audio cue going on, and you can't really hear that audio cue. Just know 3 hammer swings, and you'll be able to use your next ability. Now, the next one's got to do with your ultimate. This is a tip that I've never fucking used. It's got to do with bridges and high points. So you notice when you do, we've all done it. When you pop our Q, the enemies run under a bridge, and we hit the bridge. Now, when you pop your Q, there is option to ascend and descend. If you hold descend as soon as you pop your Q, it does keep you quite low to the ground, but it also makes you a very easy target to just fucking shoot. So if there is a bridge and you're worried the team's going to run underneath it, you can pop Q, hold control. As I said, that's a really rare situation. Now I sort of try to just take into consideration the bridges. So I don't do this. I try to pop my ultimate in more of a smarter position, but I still do stupid shit. I still hit fucking bridges. But there it is. If you want to come down quickly, just hold control while you pop Q, and you can glide under the fucking bridge. Now, another little sneaky tip that I'll share is stacking your shields before you go into a fight. So if you're around a corner like this, okay, there's a Luna there, out of position, or you're about to go into a fight. You don't have to start a fight like this. There is another option, and that's stacking your shields before you go in. So if you're about to go into a fight, you can always stack 1 shield, stack 2 shield, wait for that to go in before you go in. That'll keep you going in with 825 health rather than 625. So now we've got another tip for your Rune Awakening. I have been calling it Thor Force this whole time, but it's Rune Awakening. So the tip is that after you activate your Thor Force, there is a small window where you can actually activate another ability, whether that be shift or your right click. So after that window, there is actually a couple of seconds where you cannot use any ability. So when we pop F, we want to try to hit either our shift or our right click. Shift for mobility, right click to generate the extra shield after our Thor Force. If we miss that window, we continue to be immobile. So it's going to look like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop Thor Force, and I'm going to hit my shift in that window, so you can see that we can keep mobility at the end of the Rune Awakening. Click shift and got to hold it because I did click it in that window. We can also Mjolnir throw, or we can right click in that window as well to generate the shield or do an extra damage. I'm going to pop Rune Awakening. I'm going to miss that small window, and then I'll be spamming shift, and you can see how long it actually takes for me to get mobile again. All right, that's a long time after Rune Awakening to not be mobile. So if we are using our Rune Awakening, make sure we're thinking about what ability we want to use directly after in that small window, whether that be mobility to get out, or you right click for the extra shield or damage. That is probably the most in-depth Thor guide that I've seen. So hopefully that you got some tips out of that. If any of these tips did help, I stream every day on Twitch and Kick. So if you guys want to give me a follow on there, that'll be sick. If not, liking the video would be much appreciated. Thanks, Jimmys.